Welcome back to the Design Build series. I'm Amanda Cradaville, interior designer with Housewarming. This week, we wanted to show you what it's like to do a virtual design consultation at a showroom. We didn't want this to feel staged, so this video shows a true sense of what you'll get during a consultation. We set this up with Marin as our homeowner, doing a full bathroom remodel, and we've got Taylor with United Tile here with us to facilitate the consultation.
Hi, my name is Taylor and I'm a showroom design consultant at United Tile. We offer tile for multiple different things, floor, wall, decorative, glass, stone, porcelain, ceramic, and we also offer engineered hardwood.
I am Marin and I am the marketing coordinator and client concierge at Better Builders. But as Amanda said, today I have the pleasure of playing the role of homeowner, designing this beautiful bathroom with you two.
So exactly what are you looking to do? Are you looking to remodel your bathroom? Are you looking to just do like a wall? Are you trying to create a whole new look? Like kind of what is your goal overall for your bathroom? Do you have a style that you're looking for? Do you have colors that you're interested in? Anything that you think would be helpful for us to kind of get you directed on what you need would be great.
So we are working on a full bathroom remodel for this project. We are looking to do full tile walls, tile on the floor into a roll-in shower, and my main goal is really to do something a little bit different. In terms of our timeline for the project, we're not on too tight of a timeline, but ideally we would like to keep any selections to products that have no more than a 4-week lead time.
Okay.
In terms of design and style, as you know, Amanda and I did send you over some kind of inspiration pics, but I really like the look of tile on the floor that kind of imitates that wood grain look, but is tile. And then for the shower, I do primarily like white subway tiles, but we're gonna have a kind of a niche in one side that I would like to do a fun, colorful accent tile. One of the pictures I sent over to you was a kind of hexagonal sage green tile, which I thought was really fun, but I'm open to your suggestions and excited to see what you've pulled for us.
Do you have a kind of like a budget or any kind of price range that you would like to stay within?
So in terms of the main tile, so the floor tile and the tile that will primarily take up most of the wall, I'd like to stay at $20 per square foot or under. But for the accent tile, since there won't be as much of it, we are willing to look at something a little bit more expensive than that for the smaller pieces.
Okay. A couple more questions about the white subway. So do you have kind of a size that you would like, or do you have like a preference in the look? Like, are you okay with it to have texture on the face, or do you want it to just be flat? Do you want it to be a little more handcrafted? Do you have a preference in that kind of look?
I would say I prefer not textured.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm really open to your suggestions.
That is great. That helps me narrow down a lot of options. Amazing. And so we can get started and go figure out some ideas. So, general showroom area. So where we're going to start is back in our stock section, which is where we would have things that would be in our warehouse, anything that you could typically get in the same day or sometime earlier or later this week. And so since you like kind of the flat look, this is just kind of our basic subway. It's a 3x6, just flat subway, pretty typical. It retails, I think, at about $3 a square foot. There's also a 4x16 offer. So this one does have a slight bit of texture, which occasionally some customers come in and they see it, and because it's still so simple, it still is enough for them to be, you know, fine with it. Is this something that you think would be interesting to you at all?
Yeah, I think at least from what I can tell from the video, obviously the texture is really, really subtle. So I think I would be open to it. I do, now that we're looking at it, I do like the look of the longer tile.
Okay. Okay. And so then just a side note too, I don't know if you can tell this, but this is a discontinued tile. So it is limited to stock on hand. So you would have to be aware that purchasing this tile, you would no longer be able to get it once it's gone. So we do have other options coming in soon, but with this particular tile, if you do want to go with it, that is something that you should know. And so would something like this be too much texture to it, or would this still be something that is flat enough for you as an option?
It looks pretty flat to me, so I think it's good.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, you can kind of see a little bit of the ridges, but some people like, versus this one here, this is like extremely flat. There's no texture to it. There's nothing on it. This one has like a slight bit of texture, but it's barely noticeable most of the time. This one, in the lighting, you can see kind of some of the motion that's happening there. And so if you want flat, we can definitely do completely flat. We have options for that, but this is just an option as well too, where it doesn't look super textured. It has a lot going on, but still offers kind of a clean look.
And, from a designer's perspective, that's a really nice feature. A lot of my clients have a cleanability aspect that they like to make sure they stick within. But something like that is a really cool option because it gives you that texture without giving you an awkward cleaning situation.
And this is a vignette that is, the subway is all white. It's a 3x12 and it's a stocked item. And we have it displayed with blue penny rounds. So it's going to be just a pop of color, similar to what you were talking about. This is what that looks like. Would that be something of interest at all? It has a bit of texture to it. You can tell.
So this is the one that is slightly textured, but the tiles are more all that uniform color.
No, so this is a completely different one from those two. So this is a new tile, but I wanted to show you an install of it before I showed you a single piece because it's kind of tricky to see from the piece. Mm-hmm. And so just so you can get an idea of what it looks like installed, if you can kind of see all the motions here on the tiles, mm-hmm. They create a different look. Would this be something that was too much, or would you still like to go with more of the flat look?
I think I would still go for more of the flat look.
Okay, perfect. So with that, I'm going to take you over. We have a couple more options with that same kind of look. So this one here, pretty simple subway. It's a 4x8, and they also offer a 4x12 option. And then if you're interested for whatever reason, they have an 8x8 option in a square. So they have these colors here. They have a gloss on this side and then a satin, which is like a matte on this side. These look like it would be something that you'd be interested in.
Yeah, definitely. I think those look great.
So I'll keep those in mind for our list. Okay, and so these are part of the Crossville color by number. So these are going to be 2 weeks out at least. So they're special order. And so that would take 2 to 3 weeks generally is what we like to say for the customer to get. And so the other ones I was showing you were all stock options. So this is the first one that's going to be non-stock. But these are also options from Walker Zanger. I don't know if the lighting is good enough over here, but so they have a matte white, which looks pretty dark. It's not as bright as the other ones we were looking at. And then they also have a white gloss. And so then they also have these subway sizes here. And this would also be 2 weeks out. How do you feel about these guys?
For me, it's really about the scale. I really like the scale of the longer, skinnier tile. Taylor, what size is the longer, skinnier one of the subway here? Yeah, that one.
That one's a 4x12.
4x12. So for me, the other one also came in a 4x12 as well, correct?
Right.
So for me, I think when we're going with white, I think in this instance, it makes sense to go for the more economical route because realistically in a white subway tile, we're not going to get that much difference. So my suggestion would then be to just kind of pick whichever one makes the most sense financially, because I think that'll also give us a little bit more leeway in the budget for our fun tile.
Right. Okay. Yep, so we could do that. So, but you like this size here. This is a good size, right?
Yeah, I really like the 4x12. That's in some realm of that scale.
So, okay. This is Sonoma. This is their Pure line, which they just have just basic white subways from like super small sizes to larger sizes. They have trim options here. And then they have 3 different colors. I don't know if you can tell. So this is a natural, which is a little creamier, warmer of a tile. And then they have the matte white here, and then this is the pure white, which is their gloss. And so it's showing them in all of their color options. And so these are the sizes here in the smaller section. So they have a 3x6, a beveled 3x6, quarter by 8.5, and then a 3 3/8 by 14, which is kind of an unusual size, but it gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really like the look of the pure, having that just total white with the still kind of gloss finish. And I think Amanda was talking about the kind of longer tiles being a little bit better.
Yeah, I like to work with the longer elongated subway tiles because I feel like they are kind of a more contemporary way to do a subway while still staying classic. And I feel like for the look that you're going for, Marin, I feel like a longer tile was going to be a better choice.
Okay, yeah. So this is just a slightly different look than the 4x12. So it could definitely be an alternative option, something like that. And so I can definitely attach this into our list of information that we will send later. So these guys here are all the options that we do not stock, but they're available in the same sizes. So you can get them in the same crayon and the plank. And then they also have a mini crayon, which is a 1.5 by a 5.3. It's kind of a weird size, but they have tons of colors. They also have like stone looks, concrete looks, but these would be the color options here for the wood. And so these are the same kind of guys. Do any one of these guys look?
I think that top one.
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really like the scale of the small tile, that you still get that true texture, but you get the really nice scale for a shower. Marin, how would you feel about doing the crayon instead of a traditional plank throughout?
I'm not opposed to it.
It would be really interesting to go from the larger crayon to the smaller crayon into the shower. Kind of a nice way to keep it cohesive while changing sizes.
Just to run into the shower, or did you want the shower to be a different tile?
Run into the shower, I think.
Okay.
And then for me, when it comes to that, I prefer to match if at all possible. But my big thing with shower tiles is always the safety factor. Either having a tile that can be cut down properly to be a small enough scale, or something that already is a small enough scale to give you that extra traction you really need in a shower.
Okay. Yeah. So generally what people come in looking for when they look for porcelain wood looks are kind of ones like these, and these are a bit bigger, I think, for a shower. So this could totally be along the lines of what you're looking for. But for like a smaller, more comfortable size, I think the Wow Love Affairs would be good. And then there's also the Crossville Nest. So these are the Love Affairs. This is 2 of the colors that we stock. So this is Timber here, which is more the brown look, and then Contempo Ash is the color here. And so they are available in a 4x24 crayon or a 4x20 strip. And so these are 2 of the colors. Do any of one of these interest you at all?
I feel like this is, excuse me, an extremely unhelpful answer, but I feel like the color that I'm looking for is more so kind of between those 2. Like the top one is
helps.
Gray.
That definitely helps. That is a great answer. So this is kind of, this is the darker color that was in the stock section. So this is going to be what that looks like with the crayon. So there's tons of different ways to lay this out, and I can send you a picture of, you know, what they have on their website and different things like that I can show you that'll help you understand more of the pattern. But this is one of the colors shown. You like how that looks?
Yeah, I think the layout of the crayon is really interesting looking.
Here, do you have a preference in kind of the look that you would like to do in the niche for with this kind of look here with these warmer colors, do you want to stay with that kind of green look? Would you like to go more blue? How do you feel about that now?
Yeah, I think from the PDF that you sent over before, I really liked both of the options you sent us from WOW. The hexagonal green was really nice, and the blue wall behind the bed, that tile also looks gorgeous.
Okay.
So I think both of those were really right up the alley we were looking for.
So this one here, so we stock these colors. So this is the blue I showed you in the picture here.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the gloss version of it. And so these are kind of other colors showing. So do you have a preference for the lighter or the darker?
I think the darker.
The darker blue? Okay.
Yeah.
So I can pull some samples of that.
And then Maren, how do you feel about the green?
I like the colors a lot. I guess I could say additionally, for any recommendations from you, Taylor, those are the two colors that really jumped out at me, that the green and the blue. But I would also be interested in seeing anything you would recommend in terms of interestingly shaped tiles that we could get in color. Something that was a little bit different shape-wise could be an option as well.
This one has shapes that we don't see too often here. It's kind of like a bird feather here, and then some unique sizes that are not pretty general here. And then it will come in all of these colors here. So you could do maybe still like a darker black or some of these greens here, and still kind of be playful and unique. Do any of these guys look interesting, or is something you'd like to pull samples of to play with, or?
Yeah, I mean, those, the ones in front of us right now, the hexagonal ones, in dark blue is pretty, and then maybe the darker kind of sage green, the one that's right above the blue.
This one here? Okay, okay. And Sunny. Okay, and I can pull a couple samples of those guys. These ones here, so this one here, and kind of this one are kind of in the same family. So these guys are kind of a bright forest green, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They have that range, kind of the variation. See, similar to this guy here. That's more of what that looks like. And so these are going to be the same of that kind of look. So here is this here. Can you see that?
I really like the look of that.
Yeah, that's also beautiful. The same kind of color scheme that you have going with the white and the wood. Also with the other options. So for here, for like the blue here,
mm-hmm.
you have this kind of look. It's a little bit softer.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea with these guys here. The glass is a little bit different, so it's definitely going to come in a smaller look. But just off of my opinion, I think I like the greens. It feels a little more Washington to me, a little more Seattle-like rainy forest kind of mood. These guys are going to come a little bit smaller looking like that. They're going to have a slight bit of variation to them, to each color. I think this one shows it a little bit better. Can you see that? A little bit different. They also have silk finishes, so if you prefer not to have so much gloss, I can definitely pull some samples of that. Show you what that looks like. So do you have a preference for any one of these guys that you see here?
Oh, I think, Amanda, I'll ask what you think, because I personally feel really torn. I really, really like the look of the first one, that this, like in the picture, the green wall and everything, but I'm not sure about the hexagonal green, but I'm not sure about the size of those tiles for a smaller bathroom niche. So Amanda, I'll turn it over to you.
For me, I think that the larger scale hex is actually going to be really great, because the one nice thing is that we haven't gotten too far into this design that we've decided exactly what size of a niche we're doing. And so I think that what we can do is tailor it a little bit to make sure that we are not going to be cutting it off at weird angles, so we can make sure to get a good amount of that patterning in. And one of the things that you described to me that you wanted was something a little bit more eclectic, a little bit funky. And I think a larger scale hex is going to give you that more so than the small will. So I would actually lean towards the green larger hex. That's, I think, my favorite one. And I think the variation is going to give in color is going to give you a really, really great finished look.
Perfect.
Any other options that you think you'd want to maybe get samples of, or just to kind of play around with or anything like that? Because I can make sure I send those over to you guys, so you can take a look at those and kind of play with them in your space and see what they feel like in the space and see if it's something you still want to go with.
For me, I think, Marin, a couple of options is going to be best for you to see in person rather than just saying, yes, we want to go with that larger scale green. Although, if I'm being honest, I think that's probably where we're going to end up. But I think having the larger scale green and then maybe 2 of the smaller scale of the green. So I would do both of the greens. I'm kind of agreeing with Taylor. I'm really digging the green vibe with these tiles. I feel like with the wood and the white, I think it's just really up there. So that's the direction I would go, is I would do those. I think the wood tile floor is spot on. And I think this is where our variation comes in, and this is the sample set we would get.
Yeah, okay, cool. So we could do that, and then I will put together a list and I will send all these things over. And then each sample should also have a label on the back, kind of, let's see, so like this. So you can see the name of it, color, size, all that information. That should typically be on each sample, have information like that. So that'll help you know exactly what you're ordering. And so yeah, I can send all that over, and that should take me just a little while, and then we can go from there and see what you need updates on.
Here are our final selections that we made with Taylor at United Tile. This is the document that she sent over once we completed our virtual consultation. Thanks for joining us on this week's Design Build video series. Special thanks to Taylor Anderson and United Tile for joining us this week to show us how special a virtual design consultation can be. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and join us next week for our video where we focus on cabinetry.